Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alfanine. And I just want to say that the United States of America, I think more than the rest of the world, needs XRP. They need the XRPL. They need Ripple. They need the mines that Ripple brings to the table. They need the mines that Algorand brings to the table. They're in trouble. United States is in big trouble because they're sort of, in my opinion, like the governmental systems and their financial system, mostly the intermediaries weighing down upon the financial system. They control the banks, the legacy system intermediaries control the financial system so well, so much that they don't even have wiggle room to really break free and do a little bit better. They just don't. United States is in trouble. They're deep in debt. Their banking system is highly flawed. The security of their banking system is so terrible. Okay. And so what I've been seeing is all of these small attacks on the banking system, right? So, certain things are happening. I don't want to say too much on YouTube. I don't want to get in trouble, but certain things have been happening to the banking system. They've been getting attacked, right? Little attacks here and there, just exploiting loopholes, but they're stealing a lot of data. There's a lot of that data getting stolen and put on the black market. That's financial data, by the way. So is highly relevant. But if these smaller attacks can take place, and if the banking system hasn't taken the steps to remedy that, then in my opinion, that's setting them up and letting bad actors know that it's possible to do something on a more massive scale. I think that's just logical. If you're getting all of these little attacks and you don't have a way to stop it, then that means if I was a bad actor or something like that, it means that you're vulnerable to a much larger attack. Now, why is that relevant? Going into the future, the near future, there are a lot of people concerned about a massive economic downturn. I can see that happening. Now, whether it happens or not, I don't know. I mean, the government can take certain steps and do things to keep that from happening, but look at what's going on with the prices, costs. People are going to start hoarding their money. They're going to stop spending like they usually do because they need to save more money for essential things. So maybe they stop shopping at malls like they normally do. Maybe they stop going to theaters and all of these other retail stores and such like they normally do. They're saving the money. Now, let's circle that back around to the banking system. Anytime we have something like that occur, where you have a huge economic downturn and people stop spending money everywhere, right? Which could be, let's say, a light recession. A light recession happened. People also stop trusting the banks. Why? Because the banks still need to make money. So then what happens when there's a huge economic downturn, the banks still need to make money, and it starts slowly. People start pulling their money out of the banks. The banks still need to lend money out. That's how they're bringing in a large amount of capital. They lend your money out. They're still going to do that. Some people know that. They'll start taking their money out of the bank little by little. And guess what? It's like a snowball going downhill. It starts to pick up steam. It starts to get bigger and bigger until you have a bank run. When that bank... We've seen this before recently. They've had bank runs recently. People can't get their money out of the ATMs. They can't get the money out of their account. Banks are freezing accounts. You come there for a certain amount of money that you put in, you can't get it. They can only give you a small percentage of that money because they don't have enough on hand. Hence, a liquidity crisis. You're starting to see articles all over the place about, about recession, right? You're starting to see articles, the possibility of it. It makes sense. Look at the gas prices. Listen, I've seen people, they don't even travel. I've seen them post online. They don't even travel like they used to. I see more people riding bicycles everywhere now. Scooters, like the scooter things, electric scooters and stuff like that. People have become wise over the last few years where they're not trying to, and I'm gonna circle this back around to XRP. Because XRP is the solution. This is what I'm telling you now. This is one of the reasons why XRP, in my humble opinion, is a solid hold. It is the liquidity. It's the liquidity that the United States needs, backed by a large amount of financial institutions that are willing to put the money into XRP to pool the money together. Go to ripple.com. You can see where they tell you that XRP literally is the liquidity. They have an entire document about it. They have hundreds of financial institutions, commercial banks, central, as well as a mixture of these, of course, as well as non-banking financial institutions willing to pool their money together to create this giant liquidity cushion that could help out with situations like this. The United States is not doing well right now. They need a medicine. They need a remedy. What better offering right now on a mass scale, an enterprise scale, other than Ripple? What better than? I mean, you have Algorand right there, ready to go, but you know, it's a matter of whether they're actually going to work with them or not. We know Algorand's doing things down in Florida with Miami, things like that. So I think a lot of the states will be utilizing Algorand, but Ripple is on the Faster Payments Council. They're ready to go right now. They've sat in many meetings with the government. They're ready to go right now. And what it would do to that price of XRP will be unbelievable. So I don't put anything out of the realm of possibility, but just to give you a little example here, this is an article on CNBC. 81% of U.S. adults are worried about a recession hitting this year. And you know what's sad about that? Most of these adults have most of their money locked up in banks. I like that is, it's just in my humble opinion. I'm not trying to convince you to do this or that. I'm just my humble opinion. That is so dangerous in this day and time. Now, I can't tell you what to do, but being that close, listen, 81% of this is CNBC. 81% of U.S. adults are worried about a recession hitting. Imagine if they all at one time, they start to get real worried and anxious, and they run and they pull that money out of the bank. You wouldn't be able to get all your money, possibly. Some of you have big money in there. You got $500,000, something like that. So I know that's small money to a lot of people out there. But let's say you got $500,000. Let's say you have $200,000. Okay, I'll take it even lower than that. Okay, you have $200,000 in there. There's a bank run, and then now the bank is only trying to allow you to take out $15,000. What? So these are dangerous times. They need XRP badly. This is another reason why you can't have, and we're going to get into a document, okay? Allow me to paint this picture. I'm painting it in spots, all right? So we're going to tie it all together. This is another reason why the United States needs to adopt these particular protocol, the bank coins. They need them. They need the liquidity that they provide. They can't get it from anywhere else. I haven't seen any alternative, no PDF, no document is saying they have any type of alternative. They need this to avoid the bank runs, to protect the people. If they really want to protect the people, then they would use the liquidity that's available right now. We need regulatory clarity right now. We need to get that SEC case over with. What is Congress doing? They need to lead on SEC. They need to do these things. Congress could have stepped in. Didn't the Fed say that before, that the Congress could initiate regulations on cryptocurrencies, right? At the time, a lot of the Congress members were quite bullish on crypto. Correct? That's what the Fed said, right? You can look it up for yourself. This is why I had, since last year, when I first came on the channel, what did I say? I put out the numbers to the banks. I encourage people to call the banks, stuff like that. Let your feelings be known on them dealing with the bank coins and cryptocurrencies, right? I put the phone numbers out there. Then I also put the, no, I didn't. I don't think I put the phone numbers out for, no, I did. I put the phone numbers out for, I think, the White House, the SEC. For their particular departments that you could contact. But I think people do need to contact your congressmen. Contact your senators. They're supposed to work for you. They're supposed to work for you. And let them know, hey, listen, you're supposed to be protecting us. So you need to enact policies to stave off these bank runs that could have my money possibly in jeopardy. You need to enact certain things to stabilize the economy. Don't ever think that they're so high above you, right? You say, well, oh, it's just little old me. Who am I to tell them they're the experts? I can assure you. And I'm quite sure if you talk to the heads of Algorand and the heads of Ripple, they will tell you that some of these individuals that are in the government, they're not so well educated. I'm just going to say it that way. I'm trying to be very, very, very nice. Okay. They're not so well educated. You need to let them know what you think and feel, and let them know that you want particular things to happen. So then that's one article here. Yeah. So it says, let's just read that little tidbit here. It says some 81% of adults said they think the U.S. economy is likely to experience a recession in 2022. This is according to an online survey of nearly 4,000 adults conducted from March 23rd to March 24th. So this is recent. So you have all of these things on the horizon, and yet we do not have the government moving fast enough to remedy some of these situations, and they have the solution there. You have Ripple right there. You have Algorand right there. You have all of the banking coins right there, and they've been working with a lot of them. They've sat on multiple panels. They had multiple meetings with Ripple, multiple panels, multiple meetings with Stellar. Anything, holy smokes, do anything. They have the solution, unless you're telling me what they want is a collapse. And sure, some people might want that. You know, Phoenix rising from the ashes and all of that stuff, right? So, but as a people, the people shouldn't want that right now. Don't you? You want to live life. You want to have some fun. You also want to make some money. You want to do better. You want to be secure, right? So the people have to act. So it doesn't matter what the government wants. The government's supposed to serve you. I know it doesn't work that way most of the time, but the people have to start throwing their weight around. A lot of people don't. They've sat back and rested on their laurels and hoped that somebody was going to do it for them. And it doesn't work that way. Sometimes you got to rattle your saber. You got to pick up your spear and your shield, and you got to go out there and you got to fight. Sometimes the fight is mental. Sometimes it's a phone call. Sometimes the battle is held in over a phone call. Sometimes it's a conference. Sometimes it's an email. These are different ways that you fight for what you need to have. You need to have for security and for you to have a good life, right? So you have that article there. Then you have this article here. So you have, so let's just take a tally of these different things, right? So you have possible recession. You have war going on in the world, right? Nobody knows the extent of which certain countries are going to be involved in the foreseeable future in that particular war. So you have recession, you have war, and then you have the dollar constantly fluctuating in its value. Nobody knows if it's going to continue to be a world reserve currency. And sure, a lot of the people that have deep ties with the United States want the dollar to remain a world reserve currency, and they're going to speak positively of that in hopes that it stays that way. However, with all of these different things happening in the world and a lot of the other world superpowers trying to come up with a system of their own that doesn't need the dollar, which is fiat of the purest etymology of that word. If you know the etymology of fiat, you understand that if anyone were to come out with another world reserve currency that's actually backed by something concrete, it would completely negate the dollar as a world reserve currency. So even though I've seen articles where they're like, don't worry about it, the dollar is not going to lose any world reserve status. What? Listen, you have to always take these things into account and understand that the world is constantly changing. There's only a few things that are constant in life. Change is one of them. And you must prepare. You must adapt to survive. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Here's an article. This is on Schwab.com. Will the US dollar lose its reserve status? It's written by Kathy Jones here. It says, we are often asked if the US dollar will lose its status as the world's reserve currency. Investors are concerned that the Federal Reserve's easy monetary policy, too easy, combined with rising budget deficits. Keep in mind, the United States, this is just my words, I'm speaking as I'm reading this material here. The United States is in debt. They owe more debt than all of you watchers combined. Like this. Holy smokes. Bro. They are in debt. Make a rap song about it. Holy smokes. So just keep that in mind also. They're not doing well. Because now, why is that relevant, what I just said? That they're in debt, they're not doing well. There's too many holes in their banking system. Data is being stolen. All that keep it all in mind when this writer says what they're about to say. It says, the recent drop in the dollar over the past year has heightened these concerns. While we agree that there can be unforeseen consequences from the current policy mix, we believe the dollar's role as the dominant global currency looks secure. Oh man, that is so good. I feel so secure right now, bro. I'm being a little bit funny, but it's a very serious situation. But keep in mind what I said before. Now, listen to this, right? What are reserve currencies? Reserve currencies are typically issued by large developed countries with a record of financial stability. Wait a minute. Wait. Did you hear that? Did you just hear that? Wait a minute a second. Let me read that again just for clarification's sake. Reserve currencies are typically issued by large, okay, America, United States is large. Let's just say United States, not America. United States is large. Developed countries, it's a developed country, okay, check and check. With records of financial stability. Wait, what? Hold up, stop the record. Record of financial stability? What? You see that face? That's a confused face. What? Financial stability? What? Wait a minute. The banks had to be bailed out. Let's see. You had multiple recessions. You're in so much debt. You're in so much debt. Stability. Wait a minute. I can't check off that box. What? It fails the biggest check mark. So yes, so the dollar has to be questioned when it comes to world reserve currency. Why would they respect that? Your dollar is only backed by your military, which your military is now being negated as well. United States has a fantastic military, but we're talking about military spending. I saw some articles where certain other countries are spending double on naval ships and things like that, doubling their naval capacity in comparison to what the United States is doing. So I have to take that into account when the United States is literally, in my humble opinion, and I've seen other, esteemed minds say similar things, where the dollar really is just backed by the United States military might, right? So it's fiat currency in every other way except for that, because they're going to enforce certain things with their military might. But if you have other world superpowers that are doubling your military efforts and such like that, then they can just say, hey, you know what? We don't want to use the dollar anymore. Nothing you can do about it. We have a bigger military than yours. We know everybody doesn't really want a world war and such like that. So we're just going to come out with our own world reserve currency that's backed by gold or silver, whatever they want to do. They can pretty much do whatever they want. And then that would completely negate the power of the dollar. That is something that has to be taken seriously if you are a money maker. Now, as I said before, United States could thrive, right? The United States could thrive if they use something like XRP. The liquidity that could be provided, let it be. See, the United States could have a huge hand in how Ripple goes about dominating the world. That's definitely possible. Remember what I told you about the SDR that the IMF uses and how it was the first institution that tried to develop an agnostic bridge currency, one world currency, correct? SDRs failed. XRP is like an SDR, but far advanced, right? So if the United States was smart, they could leverage Ripple against the rest of the world. But let Ripple be the one world agnostic currency, but you have a member in your back pocket because they're on the Faster Payments Council and they're within the United States, and develop close relationships with Ripple, and you use that as your chess piece to move around the world. While technically Ripple, XRP is a decentralized agnostic currency, you still have a lot of power involved in how the movement of XRP is executed, okay, around the world as a giant liquidity pool and such like that between central banks, governments, and such like that. If you want to use it as like a wholesale bridge currency, wholesale CBDC type of offering, where it's just used between banks and large financial institutions, you could do it like that. And then you can have your other offerings and such like that. We know which coins could be used for a retail CBDC and stuff like that for like regular people and stuff, regular purchases, things of that nature. But if the United States was smart, and we'll see what happens in the future, maybe there could be some things going on behind the scenes, definitely could, because as I said, Ripple is on the Faster Payments Council. So they're advising someone, all right? But it could serve as the solution. And then the United States could retain its particular power structure, its position in the world and things like that. Its economy, not hinged on the dollar, but its economy would thrive. Its economy would explode. Its banking system, the flaws in it as far as bank runs and things like that and security of data could be resolved to a large degree. I'm not saying it would be perfect, but it could be resolved to a large degree. And as far as the US dollar, you could cushion it. You could cushion it and balance it out with XRP. Now, why do I say that? If you look at how VeChain does things with VTHO and VeChain, go read their white paper, right? I suggest it is one of the most incredible white papers you're ever going to read. But look how they balance the system where VTHO is used for certain things, right? And it's much less, there's much less volatility, and they can control it because they can vote on the different price of VTHO. I believe that's how it works. But VeChain itself is for like retail, and it could be as volatile as you want it to be. And people can make money off of it and things like that. And it acts as a balancing mechanism. So you can use a system that's similar to that, I'm saying, with XRP and the dollar. Use it as a two-tier system and have the XRP use as a balancer of sorts to stabilize the dollar and keep holders of the US dollar from losing too much money when the US dollar can be devalued. I mean, maybe I'm completely wrong and I'm thinking about things in the wrong way, and maybe this is not possible. And people in the comment section are probably definitely going to let me know. But I'm playing with thoughts. At least I'm trying to move forward, trying to find solutions. But we can't fix the system and we can't make all this money if we don't look at where the money's going to come from and what the problems are that we're trying to repair as far as holders of XRP. And if we consider ourselves to be involved with the initiatives and things like that of Ripple or such like that, because Ripple is the biggest pusher of XRP, doesn't mean that they necessarily have to, you have to necessarily draw a connection between Ripple and XRP, even though they're the biggest pusher, because XRP is decentralized. I just want to say that for the record. So, to close things out, because the future of the United States and the world is quite dim and grim, the future of XRP holders is quite bright because they hold literally one of the only solutions. There's only 3 big liquidity tokens that could provide liquidity right now. Right now, XRP is one of the biggest. It's at the forefront. It's at the front. So you are literally holding the solution. Now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.